Hi everyone, it's Heather at Little Bird Blythe. Would you like a room box for your Blythe to take nice photos in? Well, I've got one, but it cost me probably in excess of £150, so I'm going to show you how to make a Blythe doll room box alternative, which is a lot more lightweight, but it is a lot cheaper as well, and it's nice to have a different background for taking your photos in. So these are the items you're going to need. You're going to need some foam core board. These are A3 sheets. I got them from Amazon. They cost round about £13 for 10. You're going to need some tape to put it all together, and you're going to need some small patterned paper to cover the foam core board. I did print mine myself. I used A3 sheets. I actually cut down some larger sheets, but I printed it myself, and I designed some of the wallpaper, and I picked some off Creative Fabrica. So this is the item I've put together. You're going to use your tape to make the joints. Basically, you're just going to use your cloth tape down each piece of foam core board to hold it together, and then you're going to stick your gorgeous pattern paper using some double-sided tape onto the foam core board. It's important when you're putting your foam core boards together that you leave a small gap so that they do move in and out, because we want this to be as flexible as possible. Now this is the tape that's going on that will hold your paper in place, and I'm using a well-known brand that's good quality that will hold the paper nice and flat. I was going to use wet glue, but unfortunately that can buckle a little bit, so I decided to use the double-sided tape instead, and this comes in around £2 a roll, so it's not very expensive at all. So for the foam core board, it's cost me under £4 for the 3 sheets, about £2 a roll, but obviously we're not using the whole roll of the double-sided tape. And the fabric tape itself that I used there to make the joints to hold the 3 pieces of board together, that was actually quite expensive. So that's called cloth tape, and it's used for webbing repairs. Now that was actually quite expensive, and the whole roll, which is absolutely massive, did cost me around about £20. However, there are cheaper alternatives. You can use alternative cloth tapes, and you can get them for around about £10 a roll, and you hardly need any, so it's actually not a bad purchase. I use mine for journaling as well, so it was quite useful. So there you go, I've covered all 3 sheets, both the front and the back, in this gorgeous patterned paper. As an alternative to printing your own paper, you could use wallpaper, you could use wrapping paper, or you could use 2 A4 sheets. As long as it's a continuous pattern or a plain colour, then you could always put those together. So here's Arabella, and she fits quite nicely in the box, and you can see that there's quite a nice height to it, so it's good for taking photos. Now if you want a window for your room box, you can easily make one. I got these die cuts, window die cuts. Now you can buy these on eBay, and I'm using multiples of them stacked together to make them more robust. So they're only made out of card, and I actually cut my own from a die that I have myself, but you can easily buy them, and they work out really cheaply if you buy them on places like eBay. You can probably get them on Etsy and places like that as well. Now what I'm doing is making a frame for my window to stand on, and I'm just using some craft board, which is a brown composite board, and it's like a grey board that you get on the back of notepads, so you could easily use that instead. And all I'm doing is gluing pieces together so that it makes a frame for the window to sit on. And because I'm gluing so many together, it's a really quite a nice chunky frame, and that will lift it up when I stick the window on top. Now I'm using quite thin card of a die cut, so what I'm going to do is layer several of these up by using some wet glue. So I'm just going to glue them all together, and I'm using a nice thin nozzle on my wet glue so that it gets into all those little shapes there, and then I'll layer that up, and that will then sit on top of the frame that I've made. And of course a lot of this is recycled material, so that's a bonus as well.
Ba ba
So once the frame's glued in place, then decide whether you want something on the back of it, perhaps a picture or something like that for some scenery. I chose just a general picture, but I actually won't be using it, so that was just for an example. So there's Arabella in her room box, and this is what it would look like with a window in place as well. I'm not going to use it myself, but I actually think it's quite a nice addition to the lightweight room box. Now this is how I did some flooring as well. Again, I went to Creative Fabrica and I actually used one of their tile imagers, and I laid that up in Canva so that it was multiple arrangement, and then added it onto some foam core board. So this is Arabella in her teaching room using the lightweight room box that I've just made, and I've used an alternative flooring. You could use carpeting and things like that as well if you wanted, but doesn't she look cute in the scene? And it was nice and quick, easy to make, and very, very cheap. So in comparison to a room box, this one can be moved around very easily because it's nice and flexible, and you've got it double-sided as well, which makes it even better. And then you can use it on any flooring that you like to. You can see here that I'm zooming out my rather messy photography area. There's my room box underneath the desk, and also my room garden as well. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this very quick tutorial. It is quick, easy and cheap to make your own room box. My own room box cost me around about £150, and this one is only about £20, in fact quite a bit less. So I hope you enjoyed watching this and got something out of it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care everyone, bye!